Hey guys, welcome back. We're at chapter 18. I don't know what part this is, but we're in chapter 18. So keep following along. We are now at a critical point. K-Fed has really established his career as an actor, WWE performer. He is doing commercials for $1 million. He is all over the place, partying his butt off. Snoop Dogg, Scott Storch, he's with everyone. Yet this chapter seems to be all about the dollars and cents. So he opens up the chapter with explaining that he did not have a prenup. He did not have a technical prenup. He had a standard prenup. There was no "I want X amount if we split" clause or anything like that, because honestly, when they got married, he said he didn't care about money. Is that true? Is that true? Let's just jump right in. Make sure you hit that like button as I bring up the card view. So did he not care about the money when they got married? Did he not care about the money? Cherry, he never saw it disappearing. So was he worried about a prenup at all? No, he always thought, I'm just going to say this as delicately as I can. He always thought that he could get her back in with the Willie. Sorry, guys. Like, he just thought he could woo her back with the Willie. Kevin Federline is one of those guys that if you moan a bit in bed, he thinks he's keeping the lights on. He thinks he's doing all the things for you. And he thinks that entitles him. No one's made her feel like this. Ooh. So he thought he could always woo her back in. So he does say that Mark Kaplan tried to warn him to get a better prenup. And Mark Kaplan also advises him to put aside $1 million and just let it do its thing. So did Mark Kaplan tell him that he was unprotected by the prenup that was in place? Mark Kaplan told him, you are going to be out on your butt if you don't, and you need to turn into the emperor. You need to kind of direct the traffic on this a little bit more. So he did say that. Did Mark Kaplan tell him to put $1 million away and invest it? Yes, he wanted him to lock it down. He wanted him to have that money grow. He wanted him to have good agency over the money that he received, and that would take him into the future. Did Mark Kaplan at this point see cracks in this relationship? Did he not see this going the distance? Because Hollywood lawyers, they see it all the time. So let's see. Mark Kaplan, I think, was worried about Kevin stepping out. I think he was worried about that. And I think he knew that Kevin had a finite amount of time to secure his bag with this particular pop princess. I think he knew that. And I think he was trying to gently advise him that without hurting his feelings. So Mark Kaplan, seen it before, seen all these things before. So now Kevin also, he says, oh, that ain't ever going to happen to us. We're meant for each other. Like, he had starry eyes. So did K-Fed think that they were going to be married forever? Was he really thinking that? Yeah. He thought he was going to do whatever he wanted. He thought she was going to, be totally fine with that. Be busy with the kids. God, he's a terrible person. But he thought, no problem. There's no problem here. I can always woo her back. Not a problem. When Britney and I divorced, the court awarded me $20,000 a month in child support. At the same time, I was receiving alimony, another $20,000 a month. Have you no shame? for half the duration of the marriage that lasted 2 years and change. And he says, people think, hear figures like that and think you're financially set. He says, take my house in Tarzana, for example, just maintaining a home and a lifestyle that matched what the boys were used to with their mother, ran easily well over $40,000 a month. Rent, security, full-time nanny, transportation, and all the other day-to-day needs of raising 2 children and 2 kids in LA, as well as my 2 children with Shar. That money was almost gone. It was gone almost as fast as soon as it came in. Yeah, well, supporting the other kids. So what happened to the career at this point? What happened to his career? Well, I thought he had this
balancing 2 careers. He was dad and a full-time father.
Full-time dad. Full-time dad. The last chapter, he was smoking pot with Snoop Dogg. So how practical was he with this 40 grand a month? How practical? Not at all. 10 of Wands in reverse. King of Wands. When he wanted, this is what was going on. He was spending that money and then demanding additionals on top of it. So I think the ancillary expenses, like, well, she's got to pay for the house. Did Britney pay for the house? Did Britney pay for the house? I don't think so. Did Britney pay for the cars?
He had his own money.
I don't think so. I think that 40,000, I'm going to take it back, guys. I think the 40,000 was a budget for him. Let's ask this. Was Britney always willingly paying the child support to his other 2 kids? Yes. Why? She felt bad. She felt bad, and she felt like they were poor. Like, I don't think they were poor, but I think she felt like they were poor, and she needed to send some things along to them. So good for her. Good for her. How'd Kevin feel about that? Any shame? Any shame about that at all? Any shame? This guy has no shame, Greg.
I would have told you that before you even asked that question.
What a terrible circumstance. Just really a terrible circumstance. It's awful. People love to assume that I was just coasting off her money, but it couldn't be further from the truth. Contrary to tabloid headlines, I wasn't some bum just sitting around waiting for a check. I was out there hustling, grinding, investing, working to build. Investing. He just said that Mark Kaplan told him to invest, and he didn't. Investing what? My Super Bowl commercial paid blah, 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 $1 million. It was one of the biggest paychecks I ever got, but Mark told you to invest that, but you didn't. It's so stupid. I was getting $100,000 to show up at clubs. So at my peak, I was making $300,000 to over $500,000 a year, and it went much further back then. And with all that overhead, that cash spent fast. Was he being practical? No, there's a lot of partying going on. I mean, I think he was fudging the books. I think he had somebody who was actually fudging those books for him, so it looked good, but he was not. He was not. So here we have the last little vignette in this chapter. And he says he was still out there hustling, and he was offered a reality show from VH1. Remember, Britney and Kevin did the reality show Chaotic, in which he made, I guess, $500,000 that he invested in their house. He's going to see a return on that. He's going to get $1 million back when they sell their house that they had together. But they offer, there's contracts going on, blah, 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 blah. VH1 says kids aren't going to be shown on the camera. And then he says, and this is not how contracts work, guys. This is not how contracts work. At the 11th hour, they came back and they said they wanted the boys on camera, full face, or the deal was off. I didn't hesitate. I walked. Was that the real reason the deal broke down? This is the VH1 reality show, K-Fed, K-Dad. I think it is true. I think it is true. So I think he's being truthful about this. I think he was not going to let his kids be on camera, not necessarily because of some, high moral standard here, but I think it was an agreement that he had to stick to. That Nine of Pentacles is really, this is a protective quality. We're going to keep this where it is. So I know Britney had the kids on camera in front of the paparazzi and things like that. There's laws now that you can't do that. So Mark tells him, invest that the million, invest it. He doesn't, because he thinks that his career is on the up. I love how he says things like, I made some smart moves, like dumping $500,000 into a house we bought in Malibu. Like, dude, what do you mean you made some smart moves? She made some
Anytime you say dump, does not sound like a smart move.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't. So they sold the house in 2008. So we got $1 million back. How did he manage that money? Not well. Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Knight of Cups in reverse. Hierophant. Not well at all. And I do think with that Hierophant, I'm getting the sense that there's some tax issue with that thing. With that, I think he maybe mismanaged the taxes on that. And he really thought that the money was just going to keep coming in, that the money was just going to keep coming in, that he was going to keep earning, and he was going to get back to normalcy. So, what's that?
He has such endless talent.
He does have endless talent, doesn't he? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, guys, I am going to leave this chapter here because I can only do this in small increments. Oh, the tome of truth. The tome of truth. So, we'll be back with chapter 19, another small chunk of this truth. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.